Throughout gaming history, we've seen many games cause controversy and even annoy people and institutions to the point they were banned. Whether it's because of their portrayal of violence, sex, or just controversial political themes, some games have really pushed the boundaries of what is acceptable and have sparked fierce debate about the impact of video games on our culture.
My name is not important. What is important is what I'm going to do. I just f***ing hate this world and these human worms feasting on its carcass. My whole life is just cold, bitter hatred. And I always wanted to die violently. This is the time of vengeance, and no life is worth saving. And I will put in the grave as many as I can. It's time for me to kill. And it's time for me to die.
We'll be looking at 5 controversial and offensive video games throughout history. This is the darker side of the gaming world, with games that have not only shocked players, but also sparked controversy for their explicit content and controversial themes. Let's get started.
Okay, you limp f***its. Let's give Mr. Starkweather a show to remember. Move it!
Number 5. Custer's Revenge. When you think of vintage or old games, you're probably picturing an 8-bit world that's nice, serene, and devoid of any sort of violence, blood, or gore, right? Well, Custer's Revenge, despite being released in 1982 for the Atari 2600, is far from that. In this game, you control a character which resembles General George Armstrong Custer, and you must navigate through a series of obstacles in order to reach a nude Native American woman that's tied to a pole. Yes, you heard right, she's naked. But it's not just her lack of clothes that sparked criticism. Custer's Revenge gained a certain reputation also due to its blatant racism, objectification of women, and the sexual assault implied by its gameplay.
Racism, violence, pornography, militarism, all the worst kinds of things in society which we would like to eliminate. So I think that they're very detrimental.
This type of offensive portrayal of Native Americans and the degrading treatment of women within the game has sparked a public outcry and raised questions about the boundaries of acceptable content in video games. Despite all this, Custer's Revenge was never really officially banned in the legal sense. Given the controversy that it sparked, however, various retailers and distribution platforms made the decision to not carry and sell the game due to its offensive nature. But this was more of an independent decision, rather than a court order. The game's developer also faced criticism from the public, and this in turn led to the downfall of the company. Number 4. JFK Reloaded. This first-person shooter was released in 2004 for PC and, as you've probably guessed by its title, simulates the 1963 assassination of John F. Kennedy. You control Lee Harvey Oswald as you are tasked with recreating the assassination exactly as it happened in real life. In fact, the game is so accurate to its real-life scenario that it only allows players 3 shots, and they gain points based on how closely these shots match the Warren Commission's report. So, the first shot needs to miss the car, the second has to hit Kennedy in the neck and John Connally in the chest, and the third should be the fatal one to the head. The game got heavily criticized for trivializing such a tragic historical event, disrespecting the memory of the president, and just being overall insensitive towards the Kennedy family and the public's grief. Several public figures denounced the game when it was first released, saying that it was despicable, in bad taste, and they were sickened by the events depicted. The game was also attacked by members of the public, both both online and in media. In fact, the creator of the game and the owner of Traffic Games, Kirk Ewing, even received death threats. He did respond to the controversy, saying that the public response was understandable, but JFK Reloaded neither condoned nor glorified the event. Yet again, just like Custer's Revenge, JFK Reloaded didn't face an official ban, but certain retailers refused to distribute and sell the game. Number 3. Released in 2003 for the PlayStation 2, Windows, Xbox, and Wii, Manhunt is known to be one of the most violent video games on consoles, even after so many years since its initial release. In this insane game, you assume the role of a death row inmate who is forced to participate in a series of violent snuff films. The game rewards players for being creative in how they act throughout the game, and also how they dispatch their enemies. We can't go any further into detail about the gameplay without getting this video banned from YouTube. But needless to say, Manhunt had garnered controversy for its extreme violence, gruesome executions, and the overall sense of sadistic pleasure it seemed to derive from its brutality. Many critics have argued that the game glorified violence and desensitized players to its consequences, which ultimately led to calls for it to be banned or heavily censored in several countries. But the controversy surrounding Manhunt goes even beyond its gory content. The game's marketing had also sparked outrage, with critics claiming that it was targeting an underage audience.
You just...
Number 2. Carmageddon. Initially published in 1997 for PC and Mac, Carmageddon is just the first from a series of graphically violent driving games. In this game, you are racing against other computer-controlled cars, and the whole goal is to win the race. But there are different ways in which you can win. You can do it normally, by just completing the course, or you can do it by wrecking all the other race cars until you're the only one left. Or, the last alternative, you can kill all the pedestrians on that particular level. And that last option is exactly what made this game so controversial. Carmageddon faced severe backlash for its glorification of violence against innocent pedestrians, with some critics going as far as saying that the game encouraged reckless and dangerous behavior and driving. Due to the controversy, the game was heavily censored in multiple countries, with pedestrians usually replaced by zombies or robots, and all sorts of blood and spatters completely erased from gameplay. While in Brazil, the game was banned completely. In Australia, though, the game was passed completely uncut, with just an MA15+ rating. The last game on our list is a 2015 top-down shooter called Hatred. This game follows a protagonist who is on a rampage to commit mass murder and destruction, but it has no clear motivation or justification for their actions. It is in fact this type of violent and gratuitous nature that has sparked outrage and controversy, with media outlets and critics condemning the game for glorifying and encouraging mass murder. The game ended up with an AO, adults only rating, and just shortly after that, Twitch announced a ban on all AO-rated games. But this rating didn't just affect the player's capability of streaming the game, it also put a stop to it being released on other video game platforms, such as PlayStation and Xbox, since Sony and Microsoft do not release AO-rated games on their consoles. Hatred's controversial premise, combined with its graphic and gratuitous depictions of violence, made it to the center of the ongoing debates surrounding the psychological impact of violent video games. But what do you think? Do you believe these games should be banned? Or do you think that the games you play do not impact your psyche? Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to press the like button. And for more content like this, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.